Good day, everyone watching the recording. It's usual time of the week for the Monday market analysis. Still not much happening price-wise, but let's take a look what's in the stars for this week. As usual, quickly starting with the news sites. EU markets are plunging quite a bit, obviously because of the lockdowns and all the Omicron worries. That's quite a steep drop. US pre-market is also in the reds. Oil quite a lot actually, 4.7%. So a lot of holiday fear in the market. There are some nice reports. One that I definitely recommend reading is this one. Is quite interesting, over the underground crypto mining in China. It's quite a nice one to read if you get a spare 5 minutes. For the rest, nothing really crazy that could move the markets on the short term, besides obviously the whole fear in the market for the Omicron. As you might have noticed, I'm in full lockdown mode here in Holland again. Everything closed, schools closed, all the non-essential shops are closed. So pretty much anything that doesn't fall, just the food shops, the supermarkets, the pharmacies, they are open with a number of people restrictions based on the size of the shops. So that's not that good for the economy, and that is what is quite visible in the European stock markets. So we're on lockdown until mid-January, and it is my hunch that more countries will follow that. So what's on the calendar for this week? No events today, nothing important Tuesday, nothing really important Wednesday, and then Thursday everything comes together. And then we go into the holiday closing, the Christmas closing. So Thursday, we have the personal income, personal spending, durable goods, and the home sales. Pretty much very good indicators of what's happening in Main Street. And also the jobless claims could be a bit interesting. What do we see here? The forecasts is that personal income is dropping, personal spending is dropping quite big, and durable goods are a bit up, the number of orders, and the new home sales are still very low. So this is the indicators of the economy. Are people spending money, or are they getting more money? And definitely take care. It's I think 1 hour before the stock markets open that these numbers come out. So, oh wait, we're in winter time. It's when the stock markets are opening. It's still in summertime times. So keep in mind, it's not that much the number that comes out, it's the difference with the forecast. So be on guard Thursday at US stock market openings. Let's look at the fundamentals. We see that the DXY has taken a big jump on Friday. It didn't make a higher high though, and it is a bit of a pullback at this moment. But let's see what will happen. We keep bouncing on this zone, but it's not really moving much. No higher highs, no lower lows. So it's a bit squeezing out for the holiday period, it seems. Where are we on the stock markets? Obviously, this is still Friday. Friday we took Most of them took a dip or a small move. And as you see at the correlation index, this is the correlation of Bitcoin versus the SP 500. You see that we have been uncorrelating a bit. Could be a good sign, could be a bad sign. It depends on where we go. Gold is still going up. It seems that makes a bit of sense as a low risk hedge for the bigger boys. And if we look at the weekly chart, we are still waiting to see if this will be an ascending triangle bullish structure or an ascending wedge bearish structure. At the moment, we have one, pretty much 2, 3, 4 hit points. So we need one more of the top to know where are we going there. Let me just remove this one. You see this bullish RSI is still valid. We're making a lower low on the RSI. Yep. Still heading for a lower low, and as long as price stays above this, move my zoom tools out of the way. We still managed to make a lower low than this. What was it? 28K-ish. Then, oh sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. I was wondering 26K. That's a lot. So about this 40K-ish level, 39,573. Then this bullish divergence on the weekly is still in play. Let's see how that goes. The bottom of the ascending support line is around 43, 44K. So getting quite close to that one. As ribbons are getting a bit more tight, or parallel. So that is interesting to see what will happen there. And overall, the volume is still declining here. So that matches with the accumulation range here. Market cap, still looking at the third higher, have to move it a bit, third higher low on the weekly scale. Did go up a bit last week, or last week we went down. This week we're starting in a bit of a positive. So that's quite interesting. While Bitcoin is not moving that much. So it must mean that some alts are doing some stuff. XRP, Doge, slightly. Only winner at the moment seems to be the big ones that are not of interest. YFI is one of the good gainers. There are some coins that are making nice gains, but my zoom tools are in the way today. So far, this very long structure is still definitely valid. And you see that we are also in the waves of the market hyper are slowly starting to rise up. So crypto market cap on the weekly still looks like we are forming a bullish triple bottom structure here. And as long as we don't make a lower low in this row, then we should all be fine. So that looks good. Volatility pretty much hit the top of the range, and we're still in a structure that would implicate a very big spike in volatility. So things could go crazy in a few weeks' time, that is. We do see that the long positions on Bitfinex, the Wales exchange, are slowly increasing by the day. The shorts are not really, also a bit of shorts decreasing, so there's not like any big moves like we had before. And the totals on the daily still just the same picture, sideways consolidation on the support. And back at the DXY. So just looking at the bigger picture, see we don't, the CTO ribbon flipped reddish. So that could be a sign that we are still going to be slightly downwards, sideways move. It's not really thick yet, so it's not really at a steep angle like we saw here. It's a bit more shallow. So that's still in the workings. The daily heartbeat, we don't have buy signals yet. We did have a bit of a dip yesterday, but we didn't reach oversold levels there yet. So that would hint that there's a bit more space to the downside. Logarithmic regression curves. We did break the center zone. So a logical bounce level would be around the 40-ish here, based on this one, on the weekly scale. And that's one thing I wanted to show pretty much. Let's open a new chart for that. Then we're going to some high time frame analysis. Let's have the DXY here. Let's switch to the monthly view. Also here to the monthly view. So here we have the long-term Bitcoin. And let's sync the drawings, symbol times, no, not symbol times, drawings. XY here. So if we look at Bitcoin start, pretty much, let's take 2010 as our benchmark. Put a vertical line there. And pretty much since almost the beginning of Bitcoin, where was it? So here we have the US dollar index. And here we have Bitcoin since it's pretty much since the inception. Well, if we look at it on the monthly scale, when Bitcoin started, it was obviously quite slow, but ever since Bitcoin exists, we pretty much were in an uptrend for the US dollar index. Obviously, we had a lot of volatility here, but generally speaking, pretty much since April 11, DXY has been in an all-time long high time frame bull market. We did make double bottom here. So this is the start of the move to the top. You see that we made perfect 618 retrace with the confirmation low and now taking off again. So what's interesting in this picture is there is no way to predict what will happen if the DXY goes for instance, we hit this 89 zone again, and then we get a massive rejection and we fall into oblivion. This probably is what's going to happen when the Fed stops printing in like June, July. It's still my guesstimate. It could fall a long, long way over time. Obviously, this is a monthly chart. And we just don't have any data, any idea of what Bitcoin will do when this happens. So that's one interesting thing to keep in mind. It never happened, so there's no way to tell or predict what will happen there. Like here in the, see that this bull run here, it was when the DXY was weak, but on the high time frame, it was a pullback and not really a bearish, real bearish trend yet. So very interesting idea to keep in mind, and that's why we still look at the DXY weekly. Back to a bit shorter time frames than monthly. TD sequentials, obviously all in the reddish, and the most significant ones, daily and weekly, are on count 6. So that's pretty solid downtrend for a while. Don't see any big changes in that. So on all time frames, there is still space for some slightly downwards movement. So just looking at the daily time frame from a TA standpoint, we do have, if you look at this wave trend here, it is constantly diverging with the price action. So that's a very interesting one. Could be quite a bullish sign, because this is quite weird behavior on the daily, that you have a negative wave with a whole wave of dots and diverging here. So that's something I'm watching, very interested in how that will develop. But on our time frame, we didn't break this low yet, not even in the wick. And we are in a bit of a, could be a descending wedge. If you just take a quick look at it, could be something like a descending wedge. But I definitely don't rule out that if the stock markets take a plunge just before the Christmas holidays, that we'll take another dip until the low 40s. Excuse me. That's still in the books. And keep in mind, there's a financial holiday period coming, and a lot of the big money, they don't like to be in trades or having positions open during that holiday period, because it's just a risk and they want to close out. So there's, in my opinion, a very good chance that coming days stock markets will take a pretty good plunge down, and that will also impact the Bitcoin price. So I'm still staying away from longs. I'm not buying in alts at the moment. I'm just waiting to see what happens here. Best scenario is that we take a flash wick to low 40s, like my buy order is at 42,200-ish, then have a steep bounce up, a bit of accumulation, and then continue. So again, I've been saying it for a few weeks already. I don't expect new all-time highs until end of January, February. It might look a bit like this, but keep in mind, if things really go bad in the macroeconomics, that there is quite a bit of downwards potential still. Don't forget this summertime price area. Hopefully we won't get there. I think most of the risk investments have already pulled out. And what's also interesting, we did not see any FOMO rally yet from the retail investors like we had in all previous bull runs that fueled the massive blow off tops. Several theories going around why. One theory is that people have a feeling for money and they just feel that $40,000, $60,000 is just way too high for Bitcoin, just based on their price feeling, because it's a lot of money, not realizing really that you can buy a few Satoshis for peanuts still. Another theory is that people just don't have the spare cash at the moment because of the macroeconomical situation and lockdowns, and yeah, most retail FOMO happens with some spare cash they had, and that people just don't have that. Another theory is that it will just still has to come. So maybe the retail FOMO doesn't kick in at all. The price action certainly hints towards more institutional long-term investors with the constant run up, then deep backtests to really solidify support levels here. Again, big run up, testing the waters below. It does give me a very institutional vibe, the way the price action has been. And I don't really mind. The slower we go, the higher we will get without crazy blow off tops. So time and patience is on our side on this one. This will remain my what my expectation is, where I based my trades on. Still trying to enter around this level on spot. Interesting time frame to take a look at. Going to let's do something else. Take a look at some volume profiles here. Fixed range, and we take that last current pull down. We take the last move up, and we add the move up before that. And I take one more. This is just a quick way to get the major supports. This one perfectly aligns. I'm just going to do one more, just because we can. From this top to this bottom. Now, if we just look at the volume profiles, we see there's a huge support on this level. Hopefully we don't get there, but if things really go wrong in the macro markets, then this is what we are looking for, back to that 30K-ish thing. Don't expect it really. We have a quite big support from this time around. That's exactly where we are, what we are bouncing off from to the dollar so far. And obviously, there's this big chunk of volume being processed at the moment. And also we do have a spike here also. So this is also definitely, this volume profile from here aligns with the low from there. Very interesting, and we managed to stay above that. And yes, we have the, if you want to draw the battle zone where we must break out of before even considering getting to all-time highs, then it's pretty much from this price level here to probably about here. This is the zone where it has to happen, from 56k to pretty much 64k. That's the battle zone. You cannot be really bullish until you go above here, because realistically we have been in a downtrend a bit. The downtrend is no bear market. We'll quickly look at some Fips to draw them in. 786 deep retrace with even a wick all the way down this time frame. Why do I have backgrounds enabled? And if we take this move with it, then on the bigger time frames we are just above the 786 still. So we are at critical levels, at least for the medium term time frame. It looks like this scenario that I've been talking about pretty much since the beginning of December for the last 2 weeks is still into play. Let's try to draw it a bit clearer here. That seems to be the case. Pretty much a parallel channel, don't you think? Maybe we did start to, if it was a parallel channel, we did fail to touch the bottom lately because we're bouncing off this support here. That support is pretty much going all the way back from July. So short term, I still expect low 40s, maybe some sideways consolidation in the 40 to 50k range here, building some structure, maybe forming a nice triple bottom, maybe double bottom, consolidation bounce, or triple bottom, then consolidation bounce. And long term, there are no big problems on the horizon yet. Quickly looking at the Fibonacci and the guns. We were following this gun a bit, and if we break down to this crossing, pretty much the same numbers. This could be a bounce zone here. We could slowly, quickly wick through here. This crossing might, that would be today, later today. Wouldn't surprise me if we get this a wick down today already to the lower 40s. But if I look at the news and the calendar, then Thursday is the likely candidate for some blood on the streets. And that means that it is a nice buying opportunity. All right. Lowest time frame, 1 hour. Like you see, it's always messy in those accumulation ranges, trying to find the tradable patterns. At the moment, we're a bit of no man's land. Still waiting for signs of a small bounce, like we had a bit ago. We are at the entry of close to an entry of the 1 hour harmonic, but we could go down a bit more to get, there are 2 more potential harmonics there. So let's keep an eye out for that, for some swing trades, like day trades in the middle. Trend momentum did take a plunge. It's still holding its level pretty much. But we do see that the money leaving the market is slowly starting to curve up again. We do have some volume divergence also, so that could be interesting. On the short time frames, we're at a pretty strategic level. Like on the 1 hour, we had a bottom, we had a low, confirmation low, another confirmation low, bit of a bounce back test. See if we can stay above this level here. Even the bottom would just barely touch the, even an equal bottom would just mean the entry of these harmonics. Money flow is starting to look good, volume divergence, so we could be in for a cheeky low time frame scalp, if you may, probably somewhere into probably a 3% move in a reaction of hitting some levels like here. But I wouldn't be too greedy on that one, but it is a nice scalp. So shortest time frame, 1 hour, that we even dare to look at is looking for a small leg up. Medium time frame this week, I'm expecting a dip to the support levels. Like we draw here with some more sideways action over the holiday period until January, and wait for things to pick up there. After this bounce, consolidating, then this would mean a nice alt season opportunity here if this happens. So that's about it, what I had to take a look at today. As you saw, trading course is a bit slowing down. If you have some requests for topics, let me know. I am planning to do some random renting Zoom later this week in the evening, probably. Just a lot of things that keep me busy crypto-wise, but they don't really fit into any trading course topic or market analysis. So if you like my random rantings, be sure to catch that one. For today, keep your eyes open for this price action. I think USA stock markets might be the trigger of some short-term moves, and Thursday US trading session is the big question mark for this week. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the channels. Bye-bye.